A screen lights up red. 5 nuclear missiles are heading toward Russia. One man has 5 minutes to decide. Press the button or trust his gut. If he's wrong, 3 billion people die. His name is Stanislav Petrov, and right now, you've never heard of him. By the end of this video, you'll understand why you're alive because of him. This is the story of the closest humanity has ever come to nuclear annihilation, and the programmer who saved 8 billion lives by breaking every rule in the Soviet military handbook. To understand what happened that night, you need to understand 1983. The Cold War wasn't cold anymore, it was boiling over. 3 weeks earlier, the Soviet Union shot down Korean Airlines Flight 007. 269 people died, including a US congressman. President Reagan called them an evil empire on live television. The Soviets were convinced America was preparing a first strike. America thought the same about Russia. Both sides had their fingers on the trigger. And between them, 60,000 nuclear weapons. Enough to destroy Earth 17 times over. The world was one mistake away from ending, and that mistake was about to happen. Meet Stanislav Petrov, 44 years old, lieutenant colonel in the Soviet Air Defense Forces. He wasn't a general, he wasn't a politician. He was a programmer, an engineer, the kind of guy who preferred computers to people, math to military parades. On September 26, 1983, he was working the overnight shift at Serpukhov 15, a secret bunker outside Moscow. His job: monitor the early warning system that detected incoming nuclear missiles. It was supposed to be boring. Watch the screens, report any anomalies, go home. But that night, Petrov was filling in for someone else. He almost wasn't there, and that's the only reason you're watching this video right now. 12:14 a.m. The alarm screams. The screen lights up. Launch detected. One American ICBM heading for the Soviet Union. Petrov stares at the screen. His protocol is crystal clear. Report immediately to High Command. They decide whether to launch a counterstrike. But something feels wrong. The system says 1 missile. 1, Petrov thinks. If America attacks, they won't send 1 missile. They'll send everything. Hundreds. This makes no sense. But the computer is certain. 95% confidence. The alarm keeps screaming. Then the screen updates. 2 missiles. 3, 4, 5. 5 American nuclear missiles are now showing on his screen, all heading for Soviet targets. Petrov has less than 5 minutes before High Command expects his report. If he reports it, Soviet protocol is automatic. Launch everything in retaliation. If he doesn't report it, then the missiles are real. Moscow is vaporized, millions dead, and it's his fault for not sounding the alarm. The entire room is staring at him. Junior officers are yelling, "Report it! Follow protocol!" The phone to High Command is in his hand, and Stanislav Petrov has to make a choice. Here's what went through his mind. If this is real, I'm already dead. Moscow's already dead. Reporting it doesn't save anyone, but more than that, Petrov knew the system. He helped design parts of it, and he knew it was new. Glitchy and imperfect. The satellites had only been operational for a few months. Plus, the confidence level kept flickering. 95%, 90%, 85%. A real missile attack? The system would be 100% certain. So Petrov did something no Soviet officer had ever done. He trusted his gut over the machine. He put down the phone and he told his officers, "It's a false alarm. We're not reporting it." They stared at him like he was insane. For the next 15 minutes, they watched the screens in complete silence. Waiting for the flash, waiting for the end of the world. At 12:32 a.m., the alarm stopped. The screen cleared. No missiles. No explosions. Petrov was right. It was a malfunction. Sunlight reflecting off clouds had confused the satellite sensors. 5 false alarms. But if Petrov had followed protocol, World War III starts that night. The Soviet Union launches a full retaliation. America responds with everything NATO joins in. Within 48 hours, every major city on Earth is a crater. Nuclear winter blocks out the sun. Crops, DMB and starve. Human civilization ends. So Stanislav Petrov saved the world. He should be the most famous man in history. Right. The Soviet Union buried him. They didn't want to admit their early warning system almost started World War III. So instead of a medal, Petrov got an interrogation. They grilled him for weeks. Why didn't you follow protocol? Why didn't you report it? His commander wanted to discipline him, but couldn't because, officially, nothing had happened. So, they did worse. They forced him into early retirement. Gave him a tiny pension and told him to never speak about what happened. For 15 years, the world didn't know. Stanislav Petrov went home to his small apartment. He lived alone. His wife had died of cancer. He survived on $200 a month. The man who saved 3 billion lives was forgotten. The story finally leaked in 1998 when a Russian colonel wrote about it in a memoir. The world was stunned. How had we never heard of this man? In 2004, Stanislav Petrov was invited to the United Nations. He received the World Citizen Award. When he walked on stage, the entire room stood and applauded for 5 minutes straight. Petrov later said, "I was just doing my job. I didn't want to be the man who started World War III. But here's the thing. Doing his job meant pushing the button. Following orders meant ending the world. Stanislav Petrov saved humanity by refusing to do his job." In 2017, at age 77, Stanislav Petrov died in his small apartment. Alone. The world didn't find out for 4 months. Here's what keeps me up at night. That false alarm in 1983. It happened 3 more times that same decade. Each time, a human being had to make the call. Trust the machine, or trust their gut. Each time, they chose gut. Each time, they were right. But today, there are over 12,000 nuclear weapons still active, and the systems that monitor them are more automated than ever. AI is taking over. Response times are measured in seconds, not minutes. What happens when the next false alarm triggers, and there's no Stanislav Petrov to stop it? What happens when the decision isn't made by a skeptical programmer, but by an algorithm that just follows orders? We got lucky in 1983. We had a man who questioned authority, who trusted human judgment over machine certainty, who was willing to risk everything. To save everyone. So the next time someone tells you one person can't change the world, remember Stanislav Petrov, the programmer nobody knows, the man who saved 8 billion lives by doing nothing. Petrov's story was buried for 15 years, but it's not the only one. There's a scientist whose discovery saved over 1 billion lives. He won the Nobel Prize. You've never heard his name. Next video, I'm telling you his story. If you want to know who saved more lives than any doctor in human history, hit subscribe and leave a comment. Who else should I cover? What forgotten genius do you want to hear about? I'll see you in the next one.